What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So for those individuals that were complaining about volatility last week, this week is going to be a whole new level. So starting off on Monday is going to be more of a day of reflection. So people are going to be thinking about what happened last week. They're also going to be thinking about this upcoming week, and a hell of a lot of data points is going to be coming out that could really push the market to either the next leg up or break it down. It's going to be crazy. So starting off on Tuesday, you do have Powell, Tuesday and Wednesday in fact, and he's going to be talking on a lot of hot topics such as inflation, interest rates, labor data, all the key ones that he's often brought up in the past. And lately, the labor data, especially last week, has not been good. So he's going to come into this rather bearish, and I think the market is going to pick up on that. So I think all in all, that's not necessarily the best. And as well, on a side note, despite the negative data from last week, which normally is somewhat the markets wanted just to justify a rate cut, a lot of this overly negative data has prompted this to go down. So as far as a potential cut for the upcoming March meeting, despite negative data, it went from roughly, I think it was like 16% down to 8%. So now people are getting truly fearful in the market. So again, Powell might really escalate that or potentially make it better. Wednesday, you also do have CPI month over month and also year over year. So forecast right now 3.1 and then month over month 0.3. Aside from that, you have PPI on Thursday, then as well the typical stuff, so initial jobless claims and so forth. And then on Friday, you have retail sales. So a whole lot of volatility basically could be had by any of these data points. Aside from that, though, specific to SoFi, on February the 11th at 1:50 p.m. Eastern, Anthony Noto is going to be having a fireside chat. And so he has done a tweet recently acknowledging that obviously retail is unsatisfied with the stock performance. Anthony, I feel, is going to give some Easter eggs or either potentially drop some good news. So ultimately, I think the market has been really yearning for innovation from SoFi. And I think this might be a good opportunity for him to really drop hints at what might be coming next. So that alongside, I do feel, as I mentioned in my video Friday, I have a weird feeling that Anthony might be buying this week. And that would be a huge sentiment boost because this would be the highest he's ever bought at. And it does signal that at this price right now, he sees value. He sees more upside because he has bought plenty in the single digits, but never in double digits. So I think in general that might be coming down the pipeline as well. But aside from this fireside chat, it is just going to be companies unveiling their earnings. And I believe Upstart also does have their earnings after hours on Tuesday. So again, that could really influence SoFi. But going into this upcoming week, 12.32% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 132.61 million shares overall are being shorted. Shorts have started to get a little bit more active as of Thursday. So again, something to kind of keep in mind with a lot of potential negative data for this week. You could see them start to once again increase. Cost to borrow minimum going into this upcoming week is negative, so there's still that one broker trying to drum up some business. Aside from that, moving over to options, you've seen a little bit lower volume on Thursday and Friday, so that might mean something, might just mean a better opportunity elsewhere, but there's a little bit lower volume, something to kind of take note of. With Friday passing us, and with us closing at $4 and change, ultimately only 2,000 in open interest. So you're not going to see any spikes from big money buying or from market makers, nothing like that. Looking forward into this upcoming week, you have 5,000 in open interest at that 15, 5,000 at that 15.50, 11 at 16, 10 at the 16.50. So in reality, you might see shorts get a little bit more active if SoFi come Friday is close to any of these strike prices, but I think right now SoFi is kind of stuck in limbo, if that somewhat makes sense. But of the call options that were purchased on Friday, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 16.50 for this upcoming week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 14. So a little bit more upside still is anticipated. Based on this right now, with it closing at 14.91, it closed exactly on this S2. So that's going to be a absolute key pivot for SoFi in the short term, at least based on that. So 14.24 will be the following support. 15.32 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And similarly, it kind of bounced off of that general area on Friday as well. But moving on from here on the actual chart itself, so with it closing at $14.89, did close below both the 50-day moving average as well as ALMA. So it does signal more of a consolidation is coming. And I think I've given you guys enough warnings that hypothetically anything below like the 50-day moving average does result in like a 30% pullback. So I think that might be coming dependent on some of the data. If the data is negative, then yeah, you'll see quite a pullback. But at the same time, let's say those data points do come in better than anticipated, stochastic RSI is considered very oversold, so you could see some corresponding buying as a byproduct of that. Or even if, let's say, Anthony buys or something comes from their fireside chat, then similarly you could see a lot of buying as far as that goes. But going into this upcoming week, the technicals don't look all that great. But aside from all that fun stuff, what might be also coming this week is analyst ratings. There's still a couple individuals that have not given ratings, one of which is David from Wedbush. We have yet to hear from him over the last 3 months. He is active though. I've double checked, maybe he just dropped off the radar. He is still giving ratings on other stocks, just as often, or I guess just overlooked SoFi. So I think he still might be coming down the pipeline at a very strategic point just to really hit SoFi hard, because that seems to be his ammunition for whatever reason. It doesn't make sense, but that's the only bearish rating that might be coming out potentially this week. So let me know your viewpoint. Like I said at the beginning, it should be a hell of a ride, so just buckle up, enjoy the ride. Do options as I've kind of shared with you. You can do bullish, bearish options, hedge, do whatever floats your boat. Just take the time to research options. Very, very profitable and very beneficial in some cases. But let me know your viewpoint. Throw your price predictions for SoFi by the end of the week in the comments below, where you see things going. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.